The third suspect is Cornelius Smith, whose ties to the Trilla Mafia have raised eyebrows. As the investigation continues, it becomes increasingly clear that these suspects were not your average street hustlers. They operated on a much grander scale, running elaborate theft operations that went beyond petty crimes. Their criminal endeavors and connections within the Trilla Mafia paint a picture of a dangerous and organized criminal network. The fourth suspect is Jamarcus Johnson, whose involvement in young Dolph's murder remains a subject of investigation. While details surrounding his ties to the Trilla Mafia are still emerging, it is clear that he played a role in the tragic events that unfolded. The investigation
I hate that for them. Well, no, not really. I hate that for Dolph that all this shit happened like it did. But guess what, though? YouTube! What's going on, YouTube? It's me back on a fucking video, back with a motherfucking reaction, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm here, I'm there, and I'm everywhere. You know what I'm saying? I'm everywhere at once, and I'm doing all this shit that I can. You feel me? Today, we got a little reaction to Key Glock and how he offed all of young Dolph, the suspects. So, yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. I just know this. I hit 500 subscribers today, so that's an accomplishment for me. Because if y'all know me, I was trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of this month. And I hit it. You know what I'm saying? By the end of this month. And there's still 2 months left. 2 weeks left. So let's try to hit 600 by the end of this month. You know what I'm saying? That's the new goal now. So I can try to hit 1,000 by the end of this year. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. If you fuck with me, fuck with me. If you don't fuck with me, don't fuck with me. Because I don't want a genuine level of support around here. I don't want no fake. If you don't like me, don't like me. If you don't like the content I push, you don't like what I do, don't subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Simple as that. Without further ado, though, let's get straight into the motherfucking video. Free Django Tuli, as I always say. Let's do it.
Take a look. These are the new photos released by the Memphis Police Department. Surveillance photos show 2 people jumping out of a white car armed with guns. The suspects, we're told, approached young Dolph while he was inside of the cookie store and fired shots.
In hip-hop, alliances and rivalries can often have deadly consequences. The shocking murder of rising star young Dolph sent shockwaves through the industry, leaving fans and investigators searching for answers. As the investigation unfolded, a web of connections began to emerge, leading to the notorious Trilla Mafia and their alleged involvement in the crime. At the center of this tangled web is Key Glock, a talented rapper and cousin of young Dolph. But what role did he play in the death of his cousin? And who are the other suspects linked to the Trilla Mafia? Well, join me as I uncover the dark and twisted world of young Dolph, Yo Gotti, and Trilla Mafia. Key Glock slides for Dolph. In the cutthroat world of the music industry, alliances and rivalries can often lead to deadly consequences. One such rivalry that has captured the attention of fans and investigators alike is the tension between Key Glock, a talented rapper and cousin of young Dolph, and the notorious Trilla Mafia. This tension stems from Key Glock's association with young Dolph's record label, Paper Route Empire. In 2010, young Dolph established Paper Route Empire, a label that quickly gained recognition for its raw and authentic sound. A year later,
Yo, Chad, I have a question. So what if, right, I started streaming too? So that way I could go stream and make my YouTube videos at the same time. You know what? I'm finna do that right now. I'm actually finna go ahead and start my stream up as we speak. That way, I can record and do what I also like to do. I'm doing both the things I like to do just by doing this. So that's great. That's great.
Dolph made a decision that would have far-reaching consequences. He extended a family favor by signing Key Glock, a rising star in his own right, and his cousin through marriage. Little did Dolph know this move would ignite a powder keg of conflict between Key Glock and the Trilla Mafia. The Trilla Mafia, known for their criminal activities and elaborate theft operations, operated on a much grander scale than your average street hustler. Their reach extended beyond petty crimes, and they had a reputation for running the streets with an iron fist. Key Glock's association with Paper Route Empire and his growing success as a rapper seemed to have serious conflicts with members of the Trilla Mafia. Affiliations are everything in the streets, and the wrong one can have dire consequences. Unfortunately, when tensions rise and problems surface with an artist like Key Glock, the responsibility often falls on the person who brought them into the fold. In this case, the Trilla Mafia may have directed their sights on young Dolph himself, but the tension doesn't end there. Further exploration into the circumstances surrounding young Dolph's murder revealed an intriguing connection to the rapper J. Money Trula, who had collaborated with Dolph on a song titled Take My Life. Tragically, J Money Trula was killed in 2016, followed by the death of his brother D Money. Allegations swirled about the identity of D Money's killer, with some pointing fingers at a rapper named Uncle Danny, whom young Dolph later signed to his label. In the aftermath of young Dolph's death, an exchange between a user and J Money's mother shed light on possible motivations. The user remarked that J Money would have had these streets crying about Dolph, to which J Money's mother responded, he sure didn't cry about him or D Money. He signed D Money's killer. The user's shocked response of damn was met with confirmation from J Money's mother stating, yelp, the Uncle Dan that he just signed. While there is no concrete evidence to suggest that young Dolph disrespected the Trula Mafia or incited any conflict, the act of signing Uncle Danny could have triggered unforeseen consequences. It remains unclear whether Dolph...
Hold on. So because he signed somebody, that makes him, what's the word I'm looking for? Disrespecting somebody else? Shit.
Dolph was fully aware of Uncle Danny's association with the Trula Mafia, or if he saw it purely as a business move. Regardless, the tensions between Key Glock, young Dolph, and the Trula Mafia were palpable. As the investigation into young Dolph's murder continues, it is crucial to consider the patterns of gang culture and the tit-for-tat mentality that often drives acts of violence. Joshua Taylor, a prominent figure within the gang involved in Dolph's murder, held not only membership, but also a leadership position. This suggests a revenge-driven killing, orchestrated by an opposing faction within the Trula Mafia seeking to settle old scores. The dangerous game of chess played out on the streets is not for the faint-hearted. The stakes are high and the consequences are deadly. Perhaps this is why CEO Teezy, a key figure...
When it comes to the streets, bro, y'all gotta realize, bro, when it comes to the street life, this streets is cold, bro. You feel me? I've done been there before. I've been in that position. Luckily, I got out and I kind of made myself get out. You know what I'm saying? Because I realized that's not the lifestyle I want to live. I don't want the police coming and knocking at my door. I don't want that. I don't want the FBI knocking at my door like, yo, you have any conditions, this, da-da-da-da, we got your name, blah, 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 blah. I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So I got about the streets. Now, when it comes to the streets, bro, some people are forced in it because they come from that lifestyle. Like, they literally come from that. Then you got some people who want to be in the streets just because they think it's cool, or they see their big cousin do it, or this and that. And it's like, bro, y'all don't have to be in the streets. I swear to God, you don't. Being in the streets is not cool. It's never been cool. If you think being in the streets is cool, you're lame yourself. I can't lie. You're a lame-ass dude who's not a trendsetter. It's cool to be a trendsetter. I ain't gonna lie. Me, I'm a trendsetter. Well, I used to not be, but I've got out of my own comfort shell. I've got out of my own comfort zone, and I've become a trendsetter. And you know what I'm saying? My new life. You know what I'm saying? I've reverted myself, and I've changed myself so much that I've stepped out my comfort zone a lot. You know what I'm saying? And now I consider myself as a trendsetter. I do, because I see other people trying to do things I do. I see it all the time. I see younger people look at me and they're like, yo, I think this is cool. I want to try it too. You know what I'm saying? But that's besides the point. What y'all gotta realize, bro, being in the streets has never been cool. The streets were not created to be violent. The streets were originally created to provide a foundation to protect, to serve a community. When you go look back at the history of them, aka the Black Panthers, GD, Blood, Crip, all that. Those four are just like the biggest gangs there is. You know what I'm saying? But GD, Blood, Crip was originally created to provide a foundation to protect their neighborhood. And yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because back in the day, the police used to come beat up on black people. They used to come beat us up in our neighborhoods. So that's whenever GD and all these other gangs got created to provide a protection unit. You know what I'm saying? So like, people have somebody to look up to, because the police wasn't doing this back in the day. They were not protecting us. They weren't. So that's whenever GD got irritated. You know, irritated. Whatever the fuck the word is. You know what the fuck I'm trying to fucking say. Alright? But yeah, man, Yeah, I don't understand why everybody want to be a street nigga nowadays. I don't. I don't understand why everybody want to be so gangster. Cause it's like, bro, this shit not cool. It's not cool to be a gangster. It's not cool to do that shit. Like, I feel like it's cool to go to school. I feel like it's cool to play sports. I feel like it's cool to work a 9 to 5. I feel like it's cool to get money. You know what I'm saying? Stay up out the way. You ain't gotta be a trendsetter, bro. Just be yourself. If you're not a trendsetter, you know that. Just be yourself. Stay up out the way. It's cool to get some money. But as far as you carrying around the switch, you looking for your ops, man, that shit right there for the birds. Fuck that shit.
Within the Trilla Mafia was taken out. Taking out the head to hit the body is a tactic often employed in the world of organized crime.
Important clues in solving a mystery in Memphis. Who shot and killed young Dolph in his own hometown?
The investigation into young Dolph's murder has taken unexpected turns, leaving the public searching for answers. The alleged mastermind behind the hit, Hernandez Govan, was granted bond and allowed to leave prison, sparking outrage among the public. The relatively low bond amount of $90,000 assigned to Govan raised eyebrows, as many saw it as a suspiciously low price for someone accused of orchestrating a first-degree murder. Okay, let me take a step back and list all the alleged suspects and people of interest in young Dolph's case. So in the aftermath of young Dolph's tragic murder, the police have named 5 suspects in connection with the crime. These individuals, in one way or another, all have ties to the notorious Trilla Mafia, further deepening the intrigue surrounding the case. The first suspect is Hernandez Govan, whose association with the Trilla Mafia has been widely discussed. Pictures circulated online showing Govan hanging out with Big Juk, the sibling of Yo Gotti, a prominent figure in the music industry. Even more shocking, Grove Hero claimed that Big Juk had offered a significant sum of money for anyone who would kill young Dolph. This revelation fueled online discussions and allegations against Gotti, Juk, and their group, CMG, for their alleged role in Dolph's death. It is all.
If y'all don't know, CMG and PRE had beef. CMG sent out 100 thoughts. Oh my gosh, chat, I did it again. I had the fucking thing wrong. My bad.
Also important to note that Big Juk has also been killed. Tragedy struck on January 13th, 2024, when Big Juk's life was unexpectedly and tragically cut short outside Perignon's restaurant and event center in Memphis, Tennessee. This heart-wrenching incident occurred as he was leaving a funeral service for his late uncle, Eric Eugene Bovine. The news of his untimely death has left fans, friends, and family members in disbelief and mourning the loss of this.
It's crazy how he left the funeral just to have his own funeral. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of crazy.
Beloved figure. In addition to the profound grief, speculations have emerged surrounding a possible connection between Big Juk's death and the killing of Memphis rapper Young Dolph in 2021, who, let me remind you, is related to Key Glock. It's unfortunate to note that Young Dolph was also tragically gunned down in close proximity to the location where Big Juk was shot. These circumstances have fueled theories about a potential link between the two incidents, particularly considering the alleged rivalry between Yo Gotti and Young Dolph. Now back to the suspects. The second suspect is Justin Johnson, who has garnered attention not only for his alleged involvement in Young Dolph's murder, but also for his aspiring rap career under the name Straight Drop. Before his arrest, Straight Drop wasn't widely known, but his unfortunate situation hasn't stopped him from trying to make the most out of it.
Wait a minute, didn't Straight Drop and Dolph have a song, just a Straight Drop? Ain't that the song right there? That I'm thinking about, Chad, or my trip.
Incarcerated, Johnson managed to release a song titled No Statements, recorded over a prison payphone. The third suspect is Cornelius Smith, whose ties to the Trilla Mafia have raised eyebrows. As the investigation continues, it becomes increasingly clear that these suspects were not your average street hustlers. They operated on a much grander scale, running elaborate theft operations that went beyond petty crimes. Their criminal endeavors and connections within the Trilla Mafia paint a picture of a dangerous and organized criminal network. The fourth suspect is Jamarcus Johnson, whose involvement in Young Dolph's murder remains a subject of investigation. While details surrounding his ties to the Trilla Mafia are still emerging, it is clear that he played a role in the tragic events that unfolded. The investigation into Johnson's motives and connections within the criminal underworld is ongoing, as detectives work tirelessly to uncover the truth. The fifth and final suspect is Shundale Barnett, whose name has been linked to the Trilla Mafia. While the specifics of Barnett's involvement in Young Dolph's murder are not so clear, his association with the notorious group raises questions about his potential role in the crime. As the investigation progresses, detectives are piecing together the puzzle of Barnett's connections and possible motivations. These suspects, with their ties to the Trula Mafia, represent a web of intrigue and danger surrounding young Dolph's murder. The investigation into their roles and motives is a complex and challenging task for law enforcement. As the trial approaches, the public eagerly awaits justice for young Dolph and the truth behind his untimely demise. Nevertheless, the release of Hernandez Govan, the alleged mastermind behind the hit on young Dolph, has sent shockwaves through the public and ignited a firestorm of controversy. In May 2023, Govan was granted bond and allowed to leave prison, a decision that has left many questioning the justice system and the true nature of his involvement in the rapper's death. The public's reaction to Govan's release has been one of outrage and disbelief. Many find it difficult to comprehend how someone accused of orchestrating a first-degree murder could be granted bond, especially considering—
Yeah, you know what's crazy? Why yesimemeryx in there for the same fucking thing, and he's still locked up? So why did he get released? That's my only question.
the gravity of the crime. The relatively low bond amount of $90,000 assigned to Govan has raised eyebrows, with some seeing it as a suspiciously low price for someone accused of such a heinous act. During the bond hearing, Judge Lee Coffey made remarks that further fueled speculation and skepticism. He mentioned that the state has gained more clarity regarding the defendant's role in the alleged conspiracy, and that medical and safety concerns support alternative custody arrangements for the defendant. The mention of safety concerns suggests that Govan may be at risk while in jail, adding another layer of complexity to the case. The public's frustration with Govan's release is compounded by the fact that he is under house arrest with limited restrictions on leaving his residence. He can only do so for medical emergencies or to meet with his attorney. This leniency has left many questioning the integrity of the justice system and whether Govan's release truly serves the interests of justice. However, there are two crucial pieces of information that must be considered. Firstly, the family of young Dolph has expressed support for the state's recommendations and actions. Their stance carries significant weight in this narrative, as they are the ones most directly affected by the tragedy. Their support suggests that they have gained more clarity regarding Govan's role and the circumstances surrounding the alleged conspiracy. Secondly, it is important to remember that Govan's case is not a capital offense. According to Tennessee state law, individuals accused of crimes that do not carry the death penalty can be granted bond. While this may be frustrating for those seeking swift justice, it is a reflection of the legal framework in place. While Hernandez Govan was granted bond and allowed to leave prison, the same cannot be said for the other suspects in young Dolph's murder.
So why
Justin
was he the
Johnson
only one
and
allowed to
Cornelia
leave
Smith
prison,
have been
though?
denied bond or bail, meaning
That doesn't make sense. Why was he the only one allowed to leave prison? Leave prison. He's literally the only one that's allowed to leave prison. Why is that?
they will remain behind bars until their trial begins in March 2024. Their continued incarceration raises questions about the strength of the evidence against them and the potential implications for the case. Justin Johnson has garnered attention not only for his alleged involvement in young Dolph's murder, but also for his aspiring rap career. However,
there is something reassuring
Bro,
about
we
the
don't
constant
care.
inviting things
On my life, bro, we don't care. On your life, we don't care.
his time behind bars has not been without challenges. Just 2 months into his arrest, Johnson encountered trouble with other inmates. While on a prison phone call, another inmate approached and punched him in the face. Although Johnson wasn't seriously injured, this incident serves as a stark reminder that even within the confines of a supposedly protected prison, he is not entirely safe. It's safe to assume that young Dolph's people are still active. While the death of Big Juke and the attack on Johnson may be seen as random acts of violence, other people involved or rumored to be involved in the death of young Dolph have been dropping like flies. Thus, it's almost impossible not to make these connections to Key Glock. It's a suspicious connection. Well, let's get into the deaths of these other people. Newski's dies. Big Newski was not just another artist trying to make a name for himself in the music industry. He had intriguing connections that raised eyebrows and sparked—
Hold on. Chat. I just discovered something. Newski was Big 30 and them cousins, right? Big 30 in them. Well, no. Newski was also signed to the Moneybagg Yo. Moneybagg Yo tried to sign Newski. Newski had connections to Dolph. Moneybagg was signed underneath CMG. CMG and PRE was beefing at the time. So what Man, I'm making connections. I'm making connections.
Sparked curiosity among those who followed his career. First and foremost, Big Nusky was a cousin of the renowned rapper Big 30,
Oh,
a
he's going
rising
into
star
detail on
in the
this.
Memphis hip-hop scene. This familial tie brought Big Nusky into the spotlight and opened doors for him within the industry, but it didn't stop there. Big Nusky was not only a cousin, but also an artist, signed to the record label of none other than Moneybagg Yo, a prominent figure in the hip-hop world. Moneybagg Yo, known for his unique style and lyrical prowess, took Big Nusky under his wing and welcomed him into his artistic crew. This connection not only provided Big Nusky with a platform to showcase his talent, but also exposed him to a wider audience. Moneybagg Yo's record into his artistic crew. This connection not only
fucking keloid. If you don't get that bitch,
provided Big Nusky with a platform to showcase his talent, but also exposed him to a wider audience.
You got money
Moneybagg
now.
Yo's record label, Bread Gang Records, became Big Nusky's home, offering him the opportunity to collaborate with other talented artists and further establish his presence in the music industry. The label's affiliation with Collective Music Group, CMG, a renowned music group associated with Yo Gotti, added another layer of credibility to Big Nusky's career. CMG, led by Yo Gotti, had a reputation for nurturing and promoting talented artists, making it a desirable destination for up-and-coming rappers. However, it is the connection between Big Nusky and Yo Gotti that raises the most intriguing questions. Yo Gotti, a known rival of the late Young Dolph, had a history of tension and animosity with the fellow Memphis rapper. This rivalry was fueled by a series of events that unfolded over the years, leading to a bitter feud between the two artists. In 2014, Yo Gotti offered Young Dolph a record deal, which Dolph turned down. This decision created tension between them, setting the stage for a clash of...
I ain't gonna lie though. That nigga Yo Gotti is being a bitch. Because how you gonna get mad at somebody else for turning on your record label deal? If they don't want to join your fucking record label, nigga, they don't got to. Everybody got free will. You act like they gotta join. You feel me? Nobody gotta join your shit, nigga. They don't want to join. They don't want to join. Simple as that. You feel me? You acting like they got to because you offered. Man, nigga, fuck your record label.
Of egos and a battle for supremacy in the Memphis hip-hop scene. 2 years later, Dolph took to Twitter to publicly diss Yo Gotti, accusing him of being his biggest hater after initially being a fan and wanting to sign him. This tweet ignited the flames of their feud and set the stage for a series of retaliatory moves and diss tracks. Coincidentally, around the same time, Dolph released an album titled King of Memphis, a title that directly challenged Yo Gotti's self-proclaimed status as the King of Memphis. This move further intensified the rivalry between the two artists, with Dolph asserting his dominance and refusing to back down. The tension between them escalated when Black Youngsta, a rapper closely affiliated with Yo Gotti, took offense to Dolph's album title. In a now deleted Instagram video, Youngsta launched a scathing attack on Dolph, hurling derogatory insults and questioning his claim to the title of King of Memphis. This public confrontation added fuel to the fire and heightened the stakes in the ongoing feud. To make matters worse, Black Youngsta made a social media post threatening violence towards Dolph, stating that he would smack shit out of him when he saw him. This threat, coupled with a video of Youngsta and his crew armed with guns roaming through Dolph's neighborhood, raised concerns about potential violence. Despite the mounting tension,
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Y'all know this nigga rich. Why the fuck would he be inside this hood? Y'all knew that nigga wasn't finna be there. Let's be honest.
Young Dolph remained defiant and unshaken. He took to Instagram to directly call out both Yo Gotti and Black Youngsta, accusing Yo Gotti of sending his artist to say and do derogatory things. Dolph's refusal to back down and his unwavering loyalty to his own circle further fueled the flames of the feud. In response, Black Youngsta released a diss track titled Shake Some, directly targeting Dolph and questioning his whereabouts when Youngsta came to his neighborhood. The diss track was seen as a direct challenge to Dolph's credibility and further escalated the war of words between the two camps. Meanwhile, Yo Gotti chose to remain silent, opting not to directly engage in the beef with Young Dolph. Instead, he released a tweet stating that he was business partners with Lareed and Jay-Z, subtly asserting his own success and influence in the industry. The tension between Young Dolph and Yo Gotti reached its peak when Dolph released a music video for his diss track Play With Yo Bitch, featuring a lookalike for Yo Gotti. This move was seen as a direct mockery of Gotti.
That shit was hard.
Further stoked the flames of their rivalry. However, the feud took a dark turn when Young Dolph became the victim of a shooting in Hollywood. The altercation took place near the intersection of Hollywood and Highland, outside of Shoe Palace, where both Dolph and Yo Gotti happened to be staying at the Lowe's Hotel. The confrontation between their respective entourages quickly turned violent, resulting in shots being fired and Dolph sustaining injuries. The LAPD initially identified Yo Gotti as a potential suspect in the shooting, but these reports were later found to be unfounded. Instead, a member of Yo Yo Gotti's entourage, Corey McClendon, was charged with attempted murder. McClendon was arrested and held on a hefty bail, but the investigation into the shooting remained unresolved, with no further arrests made at that time. Now back to Nusky's death. One of the most intriguing elements that emerged after Big Nusky's death was the presence of a white Corvette. This car was—
Bro, who is Nusky? I've seen 4 different people that is claiming to be Nusky. Who is this Nusky person?
spotted at the scene of young Dolph's murder and appeared in both Straight Drop and Big Nusky's photos.
That's not a
Straight
Corvette,
Drop,
that's a fucking AMG.
who has been arrested in connection to Dolph's murder, posed in front of the car, as did Big Nusky. This raises the question, could the same white Corvette seen with both Nusky and Straight Drop be the same car present at the crime scene of young Dolph's murder? The presence of this shared vehicle has fueled speculation and led to theories about potential connections between Big Nusky, Straight Drop, and the murder of young Dolph. While it may seem like a stretch, the streets operate on emotions and intuition, and sometimes connections, no matter how tenuous, can have deadly consequences. In a world where revenge killings are not uncommon, the possibility of Big Nusky's death being a retaliation for young Dolph's murder cannot be dismissed. It is important to note that these connections and speculations do not imply guilt or innocence. We cannot definitively say whether Big Nusky was involved in the murder of young Dolph or if his death was a result of retaliation. However, the streets have their own way of seeking justice, and sometimes innocent individuals become casualties in the crossfire. With the deaths of Big Nusky and young Dolph, all eyes turn to Yo Gotti and the Trula Mafia. While the police have not made any official statements implicating Gotti in these tragic events, the streets have their own way of seeking justice, like I said. Following the shooting of young Dolph in Hollywood, the LAPD launched a thorough investigation into the incident. Initially, Yo Gotti was identified as a potential suspect, but these claims were later debunked. Instead, a member of Gotti's entourage, Corey McClendon, was charged with attempted murder. However, McClendon was eventually released without any charges, leaving the investigation into young Dolph's shooting unresolved. In the wake of Dolph's death, the rap community came together to pay tribute to his legacy. Artists such as Moneybagg Yo, Key Glock, Pooh Shiesty, and Black Zach expressed their
Why does everybody call this nigga Pooh Shiesty? It is Pooh Shiesty. Pooh Shiesty. Shiesty Pooh. Pooh Shiesty. God dang.
condolences and shared their grief over the loss of a fellow artist. The impact of Dolph's death was felt not only by his immediate circle, but by the entire hip-hop community, highlighting the profound influence he had on his peers and fans. The murder of young Dolph was not an isolated incident in the Memphis hip-hop scene. In 2021 alone, Memphis saw a staggering number of gun-related deaths, with 342 people reportedly killed as a result of gun violence. This alarming statistic underscores the harsh reality of life in the streets and the devastating consequences that can arise from feuds and rivalries. Next, let me talk about Joshua Taylor, aka CEO Teezy. Joshua Taylor dies. In the world of crime and tragedy, the name Joshua Taylor, also known by his alias CEO Teezy, has become synonymous with controversy and intrigue. Joshua Taylor's life took a dark turn when he was named a person of interest in the murder case of renowned rapper and music executive Young Dolph. The events surrounding
DraftKings Withdrawal Tracker lets me follow my money every step of the way. It combines my two favorite things.
His connection to the Young Dolph murder case are nothing short of shocking. 1. Although Taylor was never directly charged with young Dolph's murder, investigators believed he had crucial information that could shed light on the tragic incident. Taylor's association with Justin Johnson, one of the 2 individuals accused of being involved in Dolph's murder, raised eyebrows and intensified the interest in him. The police were determined to get to the bottom of the case, and Taylor's connection to Johnson made him a person of interest. But who was Joshua Taylor, and what was his role in this complex web of events? Taylor was not just a person of interest in the young Dolph murder case. He had a reputation that preceded him, wanted in connection with various charges, including theft of property between $10,000 to $60,000 in possession of a prohibited weapon. Taylor had already caught the attention of law enforcement. His alias, CEO Teezy, hinted at a potential involvement in criminal activities. Taylor's association with the Trula Mafia, a notorious group in Memphis, added another layer of intrigue to his story. The Trula Mafia was known for its connections to Straight Drop, also known as Justin Johnson, and other individuals who were considered enemies of young Dolph. The investigation into Taylor's background revealed a complex network of criminal activities and rivalries. The police believed that Taylor's affiliation with the Trula Mafia and his connection to Johnson made him a valuable source of information in the young Dolph murder case. As the investigation continued, Taylor's name remained in the spotlight. The tragedy that befell young Dolph had deeply impacted the city of Memphis, and the police were determined to bring those responsible responsible to justice. The streets were volatile, and the fear of retaliation loomed large. But the story took a tragic turn when news broke that Joshua Taylor had been fatally shot.
We've been told by Memphis police that a high-profile gang member was killed in a shooting in Orange Mound this afternoon. This is according to family members who tell us Joshua Taylor was named a person of interest in the young Dolph murder case back in February of
that sounds like a football player.
2022.
On a fateful Wednesday afternoon, authorities responded to a call regarding an injured individual on Spotswood near Bunting. Tragically, they discovered Joshua Taylor with gunshot wounds, and he was pronounced dead at the scene. The investigation into his death was immediately launched, but as of now, no information about the suspect is available. The timing and nature of Taylor's death have left many speculating about its potential connection to the young Dolph murder case. Was it a targeted attack to silence him and prevent him from revealing crucial information? Or was it a separate incident unrelated to his involvement in the case? These questions loom large as investigators work tirelessly to uncover the truth. The implications of Taylor's death on the young Dolph murder case cannot be ignored. As a person of interest, Taylor was believed to possess valuable information that could have shed light on the events leading to Dolph's tragic demise. His connection to Justin Johnson, one of the alleged shooters, made him a potential source of crucial details. With Taylor's untimely death, the investigation into young Dolph's murder faces a significant setback. The police must now rely on the evidence and information they have gathered thus far to piece together the puzzle. It is a race against time to ensure that justice is served and that those responsible for Dolph's death are held accountable. The loss of Joshua Taylor also raises concerns about potential retaliation and further violence. The streets of Memphis were already volatile following young Dolph's murder, and Taylor's death only adds fuel to the fire. Law enforcement agencies are on high alert, working tirelessly to prevent any escalation of violence and protect the community. The Trula Mafia, the group with which Taylor was allegedly affiliated, remains a focal point of the investigation. The police are determined to unravel the connections between the Trula Mafia, Justin Johnson, and the murder of young Dolph. They believe that by understanding the dynamics of this criminal network, they can uncover the truth behind Dolph's tragic end. As the investigation continues, the city of Memphis holds its breath, waiting for answers and justice. But as investigators dig deeper into the case, potential motives begin to emerge, and the role of Joshua Taylor, also known as CEO Teasy, comes into focus. One of the puzzling aspects of the young Dolph murder case is the lack of a clear-cut motive. Young Dolph was a beloved figure in the community, known for his philanthropy.
Yes, he was beloved, but he was also in the streets. And with the streets come enemies, and with enemies come bitch-ass people. Because for some odd reason, when people think that because they don't like somebody else, they got to instantly react to it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why, when it comes to the streets, they feel like because they don't like this person, they got to react to it. That's how that shit go.
And success in the music industry. There was no known grudge or vendetta against him that could explain such a brutal attack. This gap in motive led some to speculate that the individuals involved in Dolph's murder did not act alone. The investigation into the Trula Mafia, the group with which Joshua Taylor was allegedly affiliated, raises questions about a potential larger gang network involved in the crime. Could there be more to this story than meets the eye? Joshua Taylor's role in the murder of young Dolph remains a subject of intense scrutiny. While he was never directly charged in connection to the crime, his association with Justin Johnson, one of the alleged shooters, raises suspicions about his involvement. Investigators believe that Taylor may have had crucial information about the planning and execution of the attack. As the head of the Trula Mafia, Taylor held a position of power and influence within the criminal network. The police suspect that he may have played a significant role in orchestrating the events that led to young Dolph's tragic demise. However, without Taylor's testimony or cooperation, it becomes increasingly challenging to piece together the full extent of his involvement. The ongoing investigation into the murder of young Dolph holds the potential for significant outcomes that could—
Y'all are not going to find out who did it, bro. And on top of that, the streets are going to keep on retaliating. They're going to keep on getting who they think that was responsible for this, bro. They're going to keep on doing it. They're going to keep on sliding. They're going to keep on doing all that. You know what I'm saying? So nobody's going to give up on this case.
Could shape the future of the case and the community. As law enforcement agencies continue their relentless pursuit of justice, the impact of their efforts on the community cannot be overstated. One potential outcome of the investigation is the identification and apprehension of additional individuals involved in the murder. The police are determined to uncover the full extent of the criminal network behind the attack on young Dolph. By bringing all those responsible to justice, they aim to send a powerful message that violence will not be tolerated. The potential outcomes of the investigation investigation extend beyond the arrest and conviction of the perpetrators. The case has shed light on the underlying issues of gang violence and criminal networks that plague communities like Memphis. The efforts to dismantle these networks and address the root causes of violence could have a lasting impact on the community. The pursuit of justice in the young Dolph murder case has united the community in a shared goal. The tragedy has sparked conversations about the importance of unity, peace, and the need to break the cycle of violence. Community leaders, activists, and artists have come together to advocate for change and to create a safer environment for future generations. The impact of the ongoing investigation extends beyond the immediate community. The music industry, too, has been deeply affected by the loss of young Dolph. His untimely death serves as a stark reminder of the dangers faced by artists and the need for increased security and protection. The outcome of the investigation could lead to changes in safety protocols and a renewed focus on artist security. The pursuit of justice in the young Dolph murder case also serves as a catalyst for broader societal change. It highlights the need for comprehensive criminal justice reform, addressing issues such as gang violence, access to illegal firearms, and the root causes of crime. The potential outcomes of the investigation could spark conversations and actions that aim to create a safer and more just society. As the community heals and moves forward, the memory of young...
I ain't gonna lie, bro. They might as well gonna give up on that because they're never gonna find the people that, you know what I'm saying? They're never gonna really get answers. And yeah. But anyways, though, chat. Please like, go subscribe. If you fuck with me, fuck me. If you don't fuck with me, don't fuck with me. I'm gonna see y'all niggas in the next video. Deuces, nigga.